Free Fire is directed by Ben Wheatley and stars Cillian Murphy, Michael Smiley, Sharlto Copley, Armie Hammer, Brie Larson, Babou Ceesay, Jack Reynor, Sam Riley, and Noah Taylor. The premise of this movie is very simple. Two gangs meet in a warehouse in 1970s Boston to exchange guns for money, but when the deal goes wrong, people start shooting at each other. And that's literally it. The movie is pretty much just a 90-minute shootout, and it's incredibly fun to watch. Now, with a premise as simple as this, you would expect it to get old pretty quickly. Luckily, that is not the case, because Ben Wheatley puts a lot of energy into this movie, from the moment the movie starts to the moment the movie ends. That being said, the pace of the movie gets gradually less frantic as the movie goes on, and I really think that works here, because it kind of mirrors how the characters and situation are playing out at a certain point in time in the movie. For example, when the shootout starts, it's very fast-paced, it's very hectic, and bullets are flying everywhere. But nearer the end of the movie, you only have a couple of characters left, they're all badly injured, and they're not moving as fast as they were at the start of the shootout, making everything feel a lot slower. Now, the first major thing I must say is that the editing and sound design in this movie is fucking amazing. There is not a single cut I disagree with in this movie, and when bullets start flying, you can distinctly hear every single gunshot and ricochet, making you feel as if you're in the warehouse with these characters. And it's so immersive. Now, one thing that worried me going into this movie is whether I would lose track of where certain characters were or who was shooting at who. Luckily, for the most part, you can easily tell where characters are in the warehouse, as some characters tend to break away from the main shootout, and you kind of get these smaller one-on-one fights happening elsewhere in the warehouse, which makes everything a lot easier to follow. I mean, there are a couple of moments where you can't tell what's going on, but luckily those don't last long, and you can kind of pick it back up relatively quickly. The acting in this movie is on point. There is not a single bad performance in the entire thing. Brie Larson I thought was very good as Justine. She plays the woman who's kind of the middle ground between the two gangs, and I thought she was very good. Cillian Murphy was also very good as Chris, and for what it is, Armie Hammer actually wasn't that bad as Ord. To begin with, I didn't quite like his character, but as the movie goes on and over time, I've actually grown to kind of like his character, because I think he's one of the more interesting characters in the movie, despite the fact that I'm not actually quite sure what he's doing there in the first place. However, the standout performance is easily Sharlto Copley as Vernon. Every time he's on screen, he makes it his own. His character is cocky, he's arrogant, he only cares about himself, and I kind of loved it. Now, the only problem I feel some people will have with this movie is the fact that the first 15 to 20 minutes is literally the only time in the entire movie we get to establish and know these characters before shit hits the fan. Personally, I like it this way because any brief alliances that are set up in those 20 minutes can very quickly change at any point during the shootout, keeping the audience engaged as to who they're rooting for. Guys, I really enjoyed Free Fire, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend you go and see it. If you're looking for a movie that has a lot of substance and deeper meanings, you will not find that here. Instead, what you will get is an incredibly fun and very violent 90 minutes that is pretty much the definition of escapism. So guys, that was my review of Free Fire. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. And remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Bye!